Welcome to Happy Hour at Home. Got one of my fancy derby hats on, also known as the Sunday church hat. Just depends on what part of the country you're from. Obviously, for both of these, it's probably the South. We're going to make a delicious um, mint julep today. Got the fresh picked mint from my own potted garden. We've got a Kentucky bourbon. That's what you're going to need. And the official sponsor of the Kentucky Derby, the 150th Running for the Roses, is actually Woodford Reserve. We don't have any. We have the Costco sized bullet bourbon, also a good Kentucky bourbon. So that's what we're going to use. And the official recipe with Woodford Reserve calls for their own mint syrup, a simple syrup infused with mint. We don't have that. We thank our friends at Masters of Mixes for sending this one. They have this, I'm sure, at your local liquor store, or you could just make your own. Steep some fresh mint leaves in a little bit of simple syrup, easy enough to make, equal parts water and, of course, sugar, and you're good to go. Now, you could drink out of some julep cups. These are stainless steel. If you wanted to buy the memorabilia at Churchill Downs, that's going to cost you over $1,000. No joke. It is like crazy. I'm going to make it in a rocks glass, which is also totally appropriate. I'm going to do that because we want you to be able to see the cocktail, right? And what we have here is a shaker full of ice chips. I mean, you want broken down ice. You don't want the big ice cubes because you're going to use a pretty high proof liquor, a pretty high proof whiskey, bourbon. All whiskeys are bourbon, not all bourbons are whiskey. Remember that. And you don't want it to dilute too quickly. And it's just like the easiest thing ever to make. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make a little cocktail here and talk about the Run for the Roses, the 150th running of the Roses. Now, there are a couple of different recipes. This one actually comes from a bartender in San Diego that I got off liquor.com. And it calls for just like 8 mint leaves that you're going to express the oils. How do you do that? Well, the easiest way is to give them a good slap. You could also muddle them with your simple syrup if you don't have mint simple syrup. You don't have to be too gentle, but you don't want to bruise the mint either. So we're just going to put that like directly in the glass, in the rocks glass. And let's see, how many? The recipe we're using actually with Woodford Reserve, they only call for a few mint leaves. I like fresh mint. I hate fake mint, but I love fresh mint. And then you're going to need one for garnish too. You just need, again, there are two different recipes that we're kind of going off of, but the first one from liquor.com only calls for a quarter ounce of simple syrup, but we're going to actually go with a half ounce. It's really a preference thing, I think. By the way, tomorrow for the Kentucky Derby, they will probably sell upwards of 125,000 um, of these mint juleps. I think it's crazy. I mean, the attendance could be anywhere like it's close to 200,000 people for this historic race. First run in the late 19th century, but the mint julep actually goes back even earlier than that to 1803. It was characterized in a book by a guy who traveled the US of A, the United States of America, and wrote a book about it and the cocktails and the people that he encountered. His name was John Davis. And again, this book came out in 1803, the very first instance that we see the julep mentioned as a breakfast cocktail. Yes, in fact, a breakfast cocktail. And he talked about it, and a julep is actually like a class of drinks served over, shaved ice or cracked ice, smaller ice particles. Okay, we're going to put 2 ounces of bourbon in this cocktail. So that's, again, why you want to use a decent bourbon, something good, because not much to mask it. Not much to mask it. So we're going to put some ice in here, and we're just going to literally, one of the recipes, I mean, if you really want the whole mint vibe, like we do with our citrus, you could always see, that's gonna look good. It is a delicious cocktail. Yum yum. I mean, you do want the ice to dilute it a little bit because, again, it is so strong, but we're just gonna give that a nice good stir because she wants to be cold. Yeah, the Kentucky Derby, the longest continuous sporting event run in America, 150 years strong before they had Churchill Downs, which was built by a descendant, the grandson of, remember Lewis and Clark, American explorers? It was Clark's um, grandson. We're going to put more ice in here, max it out, make it look pretty, which, we do try. And he went to the races in England, in Surrey, actually, and it was very well attended by the likes of even QE2. I mean, royals would go to the races. They'd dress in their fancier hats and their Sunday best, and people loved it. He loved it, so he came back to the States and was like, that could fly here in the US of A, especially in my home of Kentucky. I thought I got all the bugs out of my fresh mint. Let's just do a once over because we don't really want to start eating bugs this time of day. Okay, that looks good. Delish, beautiful. Sippy sip. They sold like I said, like 125,000 of these for, you know, a fair amount of people at the last one. Mm, it's just delicious. It's so good. It really is delicious. I love bourbon, you know. It's so delicious, especially sweetened with a little bit of mint syrup. But yeah, couldn't be easier to make and enjoy, and you should too. You probably will take a little bit longer to drink this than the entire Kentucky Derby. All 20 horses will be able to run the race in about 2 minutes. I think the fastest time ever was Secretariat in 1973. That horse, these horses are so amazing. 1 minute, 59.4 seconds, the fastest time ever for Secretariat or any horse for that matter. And again, the purse is now up to $5 million starting this year. Mm. You want to make your own mint julep? You should. Put on a fancy hat, especially if you're going to watch the race tomorrow. But it's a great drink. I mean, that really is a delicious, refreshing, fresh mint kind of cocktail. So all you need is 2 ounces of your favorite bourbon. You need a half ounce of simple syrup, mint simple syrup if you can find it at a liquor store from Master of Mixes or Woodford Reserve. They make one too. Probably a lot more expensive. And enjoy the hell out of that cocktail. Now, because we've got like so many holidays happening this weekend, I'm actually going to do just a special show on TikTok only for the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. Yes, a Yoda themed cocktail. That's coming up here in just a little bit on my TikTok only. But tomorrow, I'm also going to do a cocktail for Cinco de Mayo, which is Sunday. It's not what you think it is. It's not what you think it is. I love a good margarita, but this one's called El Diablo. Okay. We're going to make it with some añejo tequila, some creme de mure, which is a black currant liqueur, and a little bit of lime juice and ginger beer. Yes. Sounds delicious. I cannot wait to try it. Cannot wait to see you there. But again, we've got a special show coming up next on my TikTok channel only. So I hope you'll tune in. Cheers to the Derby. Cheers to tradition and delicious cocktails. And cheers to you. Thank you guys. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm.